Great Britain has fielded many great boxers for about every weight class imaginable. The Welshman Joe Cordina is definitely one of those. In a weight class as exciting as men's super featherweight, it's bound to be big news when a warrior spirit-infused Texan known as the Kid comes out to challenge the reigning Brit for a championship title. It's going to be a super exciting high-intensity brawl, and we can't wait to tell you all about the contenders. Let's go. Piece of British lightweight boxing. Joe Cordina's boxing journey is a unique one, as he's had a huge amateur boxing record. He jumped headfirst into amateur boxing at the age of 20 in the 2011 AIBA World Boxing Championships. But it was a hard experience for him, as he was eliminated early on by a German boxer. Then again, these things happen to a younger boxer in the amateur leagues. Engaging in competition while also studying, he continued the next year. In 2012, Cardina won a bronze medal at the European Under-22 Boxing Championships held in Russia. He made it all the way to the semifinals, using his advantage of lightning speed for the very first time in his boxing journey. His next major amateur boxing win came in 2015, when he participated in that year's European Amateur Boxing Championships in Samokov, Bulgaria, beating Otan Ranosian of Georgia in the final. He was the only British boxer to win a gold medal at the event and actually made Welsh boxing history with it. There are only 3 of us as Welsh boxers who in the last 90 years have won Europe gold, so it's nice to be in elite company, explained Cordina. This win cemented for himself an exalted status, even as an amateur boxer. He also qualified for the 2016 Rio Olympics in the boxing category, but ultimately lost to the highly experienced Khurshid Tojibayev of Uzbekistan. Even then, his use of expert footwork and counterpunching to beat Filipino boxer Charlie Suarez in the first round was noted once more. It was pro-championship material. And so he went pro the very next year. Cordina made his professional boxing debut against Jose Aguilar at the age of 25 on April 22, 2017, defeating Aguilar via a TKO in the 4th round. He quickly attracted more attention outside of Wales and the UK, no doubt owing this to his expert footwork and speed. He would fight 5 more times after defeating Aguilar, and all of these were impressive bouts that led to his opponent simply being unable to continue opposing him any longer, resulting in TKO losses for him. He won his first title in his 7th pro fight in 2018, in which he shut down Hakeem Ben Ali to become the WBA International Lightweight Champ. He would go on to secure 2 British Championship titles and also defend over the next year with even more optimized skills for counter-striking his opponents to the floor. In 2019, he fought and won an impressive 3 fights. He firmly cemented himself as the king of his weight range and slimmed down to his peak by brutally knocking out IBF Super Featherweight World Champion Kenichi Ogawa in the summer of 2022 in front of Cardiff. He had amassed a fan following by this point, and they were overjoyed to see their favorite boxer secure a dominant victory on home grounds. We're here following his most recent fight on April 22, 2023, against Kazakhstani's boxer Shavkat Rakhmonov for Rakhmonov's super featherweight title. Cordina fought all the way through the entire 12 rounds to capture a split decision win. It was probably the hardest professional fight ever for him. Securing this championship belt in a lighter weight class was not an easy journey. And you may have noticed how we didn't mention that he defended his belt in this fight. That's because this fight was scheduled to go down earlier on November 5th, 2022, and it was stripped from him because of his failure to show up. He couldn't show up due to a nasty arm injury during training for the fight. IBF's policy dictates that an extension couldn't be granted twice for injury recovery after the initial 60-day extension. Cordina's arm injury required a surgery, so you can argue that IBF was being unnecessarily harsh on him. All things considered, it's a very unfortunate affair. He stated, "Feel like I've been robbed." Nevertheless, all's well that ends well, and he was eventually able to reclaim his title. Now, after 16 wins and 0 losses as a pro boxer, is the team ready for a real title defense fight? The Kid. A ring name like the Kid could of course be given to a youthful and relatively inexperienced prospect, and yet the Kid is well set to fight for the IBF world title. Age 28, Edward Vazquez had his amateur fight in 2012, which he lost. However, in an interview for Bad Left Hook, he claimed that he had been boxing for 21 years, indicating that he had been training since the age of 7. He comes from a family of boxers, and he is the youngest of 5 kids in a family where cousins, uncles, and a grandfather were all boxers. Vazquez convinced his father to let him quit baseball and sign him for boxing on his 7th birthday. He spent his youth fighting around 90 times in the amateurs, most notably at the 2012 Junior Olympic National Championships, which appears to be the only sanctioned amateur bout for him. Keeping the family tradition alive, he will go on to open a boxing gym and make it his full-time occupation. He soon developed a life that saw him practically live in the gym, 24/7 in his own words. Therefore, he was bound to go pro at some point. That moment eventually came as he made his professional boxing debut against Willie Miller at the age of 20 on February 18, 2016, and defeated Miller with a unanimous decision. His following fight was a draw, but he went on to build an impressive 10-fight win streak from 2017 to 2021. In 2022, he suffered a stinging and controversial split decision loss to Raymond Ford. It was such a disputed result that Vazquez's corner was left wondering whether the judges watched a different fight. As a side note to this utter frustration, Vazquez might be one of the few professional boxers to have his fight postponed 5 times in a row over the course of COVID-19. This was his fight against Irvin Gonzalez, which he eventually conquered to win the WBC USA featherweight title, his first ever champion title. Damn it, Vazquez reacted to the news. This is fucking crazy. That's 5 fights in a row. This underlines how boxing is the one thing that he's best at, and being able to secure a championship belt as early as possible is important for any professional boxer. Now, being able to beat Joe Cordina would net Vazquez the IBF World Super Featherweight title, on top of the IBF Intercontinental Featherweight title that he had won in the previous fight against Brian D. Garcia. The disputed defeat to Raymond Ford remains the only loss in his professional career, something he's more than well motivated to avenge and bury by taking down Joe Cordina. Fighters compared. Of course, Joe Cordina's weightless feet and lightning-fast strikes will continue to remain his most important asset. With enough stamina to back the strikes up, this method of counterpunching and moving all around the opponent can be especially hard to overcome in lighter weight classes. Standing 5'9", he's quite tall for the weight class, and he uses his reach effectively to help him dominate without using much energy and headspace to strategize. Therefore, it can be extremely difficult to see when a strike is coming in place of a feint, or vice versa. Combine that with the fact that Cordina's punches hit rather hard, it's really difficult. He's motivated by his love for family and, of course, to finally have a title defense on his record. Finally, he wants to score one more honor for Wales. I don't think Wales has ever had a 2-time world champion. We've had Joe Galzaghi, who's been a world champion for years and years on end. He's Britain's best champion. So for me to be the first to do that would be another box ticked off, he said. But Vazquez has been doing his homework. I'm a big tape guy. I've watched all of his fights, day in and day out, whether I'm in the gym or out on the road. That's what I do. I study tape all day, write a lot of notes down, go over it with my coach, and he goes over his notes and observations. Vazquez is aiming to take the challenge by relying on his relentless momentum and defense. This is where a difference in lifestyle can surely make a difference in the ring. He said the following about it. But all year long, I'm in the gym, running, doing something for boxing every day. It's my lifestyle, and has been for 19 years. And I don't even go one day without it. Being a boxing coach at this very gym means he has a mind that's uniquely attuned to knowing all about the weaknesses of other boxers. And not to mention, he also has the pressure day in and day out to have the capability to outpace and outbox everyone. Frankly speaking, Joe Cordina simply doesn't have that kind of lifestyle. A lot of people know, if they watch me, I have very good head movement, good defense, and I'm not easy to hit. Even though I'm a come-forward fighter, Vazquez said, seeking to underline the fact that he's been learning and improving constantly. No doubt made even more possible by being in the gym constantly. We think that owing to Vazquez's age and deep-seated motivations, along with his recently revamped defensive skills, can carry the day and prevent Joe Cordina from making a successful title defense. However, Cordina is no less motivated to take home a victory and maintain his undefeated streak, as it's not only his family's future that he's fighting for, but also for Wales. Are you excited to see the young Texan take on the world title challenge against a formidable defender? Leave us a like and subscribe if you agree with our assessment of this showdown. We'll see you again when the dust settles on the canvas.